This next section is going to be on oil painting mediums. Mediums are very important to be able to manipulate the paint, whether you want to make it more matte, gloss it up, extend it, thin it. All these different types of alterations need to be done through oil painting mediums. And there are plenty out there to choose from, but I'll go through some of the more popular ones that are a little bit easier to find and, well, a little bit easier to use. The first thing I'll mention right here is linseed oil. Now, linseed oil is a vehicle in many, many oil paints. The only time it's usually not used is in paler paints, such as whites, that will commonly have like a popular or paler oil because the nature of linseed oil is to yellow and you don't want to yellow your whites. But for the majority of colors, it can be used to extend it and thin it and make it go further. It's a great additive. It will basically bond with the paint instantly because it's the same material that's in it. The next item I'll show you is, this is a quick drying medium. The quick drying medium is a great little tool, especially if you want to work quickly or in layers. Oil paints take a while to dry. Depending on the brand and the conditions of the weather, some brands like Lucas can be dry to the touch within 24 hours. Other brands might take a couple days, a week or so. It's important if you want to do layering or glazing to get your underlayer dry before you do your next layer. So if that's the case, you want to add a little bit of quick dry medium to speed up that process so you don't have to sit there and wait in anticipation for it to dry. The next thing we have right here is a Damar varnish. Now, varnishing your paintings is a very, very important way to preserve them and keep them for lasting years and years. However, it's very important to note that oil paintings are not varnished until 6 months after they've been painted. There's a very good reason for this. It takes oil paint to dry completely thoroughly about 6 months. They dry very slowly because the oil is trying to evaporate, unlike in acrylics where it's water evaporating. So you don't want to apply the varnish too soon. So for any of you guys that are brand new to painting and haven't started yet, you don't have to worry about this one quite right now. This medium right here is Venetian Turpentine, and I want to explain to you a little bit about thinners, paint thinners, turpentines, odorless thinners, substitutes, and the proper application. When it comes to odorless thinners, thinners that are designed for cleaning your brushes, it's not recommended to use those to thin the paint for painting applications. Those are cleaners, but when you want to thin your paint down for painting, to thin it so that you have a more watery paint base for some reason, or if you're wanting to take maybe a medium and thin it down, you'll want to use a more traditional artist turpentine. So this is an example of that, and it has its own applications. And the last medium I'll show you is Lucas painting butter. This is a great tool, especially for those of you that want to do more impasto type painting, that Vincent van Gogh style. And I'll show you some of this right now, actually. It's beautifully made, and it has that beeswax in it, like most of Lucas's products. And as you can see, out of the tube, it has a really nice body to it. It holds its own. And this particular medium is important if you want to paint impasto because it allows for even drying. If you were to paint in some oils very thickly, over time they will shrink and crack, which is no good. You don't want that to happen. And the reason that happens is because the outside is drying faster than the inside. The painting butter allows for more smooth drying, giving you a continuous drying process that doesn't break off in the middle, so you'll be able to keep those nice peaks that you build. And it's a great way to extend your paint. Right here I'll add some of this blue into it, and there's only so much pigment to go around, but as you can see, adding just a hint of this deep blue has given me a very large extension of it, which I can go ahead and apply in thick processes and very wavy motions, or even if I just wanted to extend it and go a little bit more transparent, it can be dragged out. In all this talking about impasto and Vincent van Gogh, it's actually an interesting fact about Lucas that Vincent van Gogh was a customer of theirs. A lot of paint companies might claim that this is the case, that some famous artist used to use their paint and might very well could have. Lucas is one of those few companies that I know has proof, and that's because they have a letter that Vincent van Gogh wrote to his brother Theo many, many years ago, saying that he ordered some colors from Dr. Schoenfeld in Dusseldorf, which is actually the original name before Lucas became the trade name of the paint. And he said that he ordered some colors, and that if he had had I think it was the King's Blue Light, by the time he did the Potato Eaters, he thought the painting would have come out much better. So that's a pretty cool little fact there that they have going for him. So anyway, those are some basic useful mediums, and like I said, there's more on here, and you're welcome to read. There's tons of information on the Jerry's Autorama website with lots of in-depth discussion on different mediums that they can be used for. But these Charvin and Lucas mediums that I pointed out here are some of your more common ones, and a good place to get started.